YouTube above average Cody here today to talk all about reticle placement and reticle settings. And although this is something that should come very, very obvious to you in your mind, this is something I see nearly everybody get lazy with, and I even see it in my own gameplay kind of lead to those games where it feels like nothing's really hitting, I can't really win a gunfight, and I find that I can sometimes attribute a lot of that to where I am placing my reticle on the map. So today, a bit of a reminder tips video, because most of these tips people should already know, but we're going to talk about what good reticle placement should look like when you're anticipating an enemy, what good reticle placement should look like while you're fighting an enemy, and then finally I'm going to show you guys some general reticle settings that for some reason 2 years into this game some people still seem to not really know about. So without further ado, let's show you guys a quick little clip on how reticle placement can severely affect your gameplay. And guys, in this quick little clip here, I'm going to show you with the snipe here, I'm going to peek top mid, and my reticle placement is going to be very good as I slide around this corner, right? I am keeping my reticle up, anticipating where the enemy is going to be, and if an enemy comes anywhere here, peeking out top mid from C plat, I'm going to have a very easy shot at shooting them, right? I don't really have to move the reticle much. The reticle is at the perfect height, which we're going to talk about in a little bit here, and this is really good reticle placement. And now as I snap to the next gunfight here immediately after looking top mid, you will instantly see how my reticle placement being very ready for the enemy actually grants me a free kill. I do not even have to move my reticle. I hear the teammate fighting somebody there. I know that this is the line he is going to have to cross to slide into cover, and by peeking this and keeping my reticle placement right here, I have no problem just pulling the trigger and then looking. However, this third gunfight you guys are about to see me look at, my reticle placement basically leads to me screwing up my aim and losing the gunfight. And I snap back here to look back at nest after checking top mid. I'm staring right at the ground, and it leads to me snapping up to nest, back down to the ground, and it takes me a few seconds to even get my reticle over the enemy. Now, if I would have known that they were top nest, which I should have because somebody was fighting him, I could have moved my reticle right up to top nest as I turned this corner. I would have been very close to him, and then I could have easily just tracked him right down to the ground. But instead, I was just wandering, looking at the ground, and it leads to me over-aiming, and he hits me with nearly 2 bullets before I am even getting a shot on this guy, frankly, guys. And that's really one big reason reticle placement is so important to your gameplay. It can be a very big difference between quick damage on the enemy or quick damage onto yourself while you try to figure out what the heck is going on with your reticle. And now, guys, this brings me to a quick little clip I have of what your reticle placement should look like when you are just anticipating an enemy. You always want to keep your reticle snapped up where you think an enemy may poke out. So if you're just roaming around the map, right, some basic things you should look for are no teammates in front of you, because that means enemies could be coming from that direction. So you always want to have your reticle ready, up, and level to shoot an enemy. So right here, I slide the corner, my reticle is perfect level. So if an enemy were to just come walking out, I can hit them in the center body of mass from basically the chest area down to the waist, because that's where the biggest area to hit an enemy is going to be. And now you can see here, I come around, I slide the corner. Ball on the oddball is a very, very common place somebody could be standing, so I keep my reticle right here so I'm ready to shoot them. Next thing available is going to be top glass, so I check out top glass with my reticle. Slide out, there could be somebody long haul. Okay, nobody there. So now I'm going to go move into red pipes here. What am I going to do, guys? Same thing. Very basic here. Keep the reticle up. If I see enemies anywhere, I'm going to be ready to shoot them. Now, I already checked top glass, and this isn't really a good angle, so I'm not going to keep the reticle up here. I'm going to keep it down here because somebody could be running out long haul, and of course, there could be one C plat, so a quick little slide over, but I actually decide to grab the shock here. And then same thing, guys. I'm going to peek out. I'm going to get out, keep the reticle ready, because now no teammates in front of me. An enemy could be coming in to red pipes. And now this is very, very basic reticle placement, guys. I just want to show you a quick little clip of really what it should look like here. And now we're going to talk a little bit about where you should be aiming, and especially why I'm aiming at this height in the doorway, again, being chest level of the enemy. Now, guys, this brings us to when an enemy is in front of you, where you should be aiming on the enemy. And now, one very quick thing that everybody should already know in Halo Infinite is no matter where you shoot the enemy when they are at full shields, be it the head, be it the foot, be it the center of the leg, I don't care, you do the same amount of damage. no matter where you shoot them. As long as the shields are active, you can hit them wherever you would like. Once the shields are cracked, it is either 3 bullets to the body or it is 1 bullet to the head, right? So you obviously want to hit them in the head once the shields are cracked. Easier said than done. Now that we have that out of the way, guys, this means that when you have a full health enemy in front of you, you want to be aiming around the chest area. This is going to be the widest body of mass and basically the easiest to hit. So if you are anticipating an enemy coming around the corner, say right here, you want to have your reticle at a level where you are going to hit them in the chest, because obviously, as you can see, guys, the aim assist pulls once the enemy is in your reticle, right? So if you are pulling around the waist, that is a smaller area because it is not as wide that the aim assist is going to pull, which is just going to inevitably make it harder to hit the target side to side. Because obviously, I want to see you guys strafing in your gunfights, being a hard target to hit. So you want to be aiming for the chest area, basically, if they're full shields. Biggest body of mass. There's a lot more area where you can kind of throw off your aim and hit top to bottom. And obviously, as I mentioned, the widest from left to right, guys. So you want to be aiming at the chest because, again, it does not matter if you shoot them in the foot. It's going to take the same amount of bullets. And then no matter what, you want to snap up to the head for the one-shot headshot afterwards. So that is why when you are sliding corners, you want to keep your reticle about this high so that when they come around that corner, you have basically the biggest body of mass that you are going to be shooting at with your reticle. And this goes for every single angle you are going to peek. If you're going to be peeking top mid, right about here is where their chest would be. And then if they pop up here, so be it. You have to snap up and kind of be ready to shoot them here. And just always be pre-aiming these angles like I talked about, guys, at that certain height. You don't want to be aiming at head level, guys, because you saw how much, like, less width there is trying to shoot at the head as opposed to the chest, which I will show you guys right here. It is much, much easier to try to hit a sniper shot left and right in something this wide than it is on something this wide, even though the aesthetic of this helmet is very large looking. I promise you guys, most of them are not quite as large. So although you will be rewarded with damage to the head with something like the S7, generally you're going to have the bandit in your hand and it's going to be doing the same exact amount of damage no matter where you shoot them. So again, guys, widest body of mass, you always want your reticle around chest level until you crack those shields or there's a one-shot enemy. Then you want to try to be aiming for the head, but if you're not quite as accurate, there's really no problem with just putting some extra shots into the body, because then even if you lose that gunfight, you know, a teammate could maybe clean it up or something, because they're truly one shot if you get 2 shots to the body when they are cracked shields. Now, guys, this brings me to some reticle settings. If you did not already know, you can change the size of your reticle. However, some other things will also change, and this will change with your field of view. I personally run a 97-degree field of view, but if I go all the way up to max, which is 120, you could see the reticle is much, much smaller, but we are, in fact, able to see more of the screen, and things appear a little bit further away. So your reticle kind of just scales with the size of the target. Being target appears further away, it appears to be smaller on your screen, which means you get a smaller reticle, pretty much just to scale with everything, because everything's going to be similar. And I'll show you guys the extreme other one. I have other FOV videos explaining more in depth, guys. If you want to check those out, I'll link them below in the description. But we'll go to 65 FOV, and now you can see the target appears much, much closer, but the reticle is also much, much bigger. So what I mean when I say it scales with whatever FOV you run. However, I stay on 97. Again, guys, there are like pros and cons to high or low FOV, so just find whatever works best for your playstyle or whatever you are most comfortable with. That will change the overall size of the circle in the reticle. Guys, one more thing you can actually do is change the appearance of your reticle, not just the size, scaling with the FOV. So if you go to your gameplay settings here and go all the way down to outlines and colors, you can see these two right here, reticle outline opacity and reticle outline thickness. And this is how you get that nice little outline behind your reticle. Some people like it, some people don't. I personally like it, so I have these both on max. The outline thickness is obviously the thickness of the outline. So if I turn that all the way down to 0, I no longer have that nice little black outline on it, which can actually make it a little bit harder to see on like bright white walls like this and things like that, which obviously you shouldn't be watching your reticle anyways, but I personally like it just to be a little bit more apparent and visible on just about every surface. So you can see if I go up to 1, which is default for the outline, I start to get a little bit of a black outline around the white reticle. And then if I turn it all the way up where I had it it, you can see it is very, very apparent, and it just makes it a little bit easier to see on surfaces that are the same color as the reticle. Now, the opacity of it, guys, is pretty much just how translucent or how solid it is when it comes to the outline around it. So if you turn it down to 0, obviously it is going to be completely see-through. So although you have the thickness all the way up, you are going to have no outline around your reticle, and then it's very apparent here, guys. If you go up, it starts to become a little bit more visible, and then if you max it out, it just becomes a solid black reticle outline around it, which I like it. It makes it easier to see, and for some reason, some people still don't know you can do this to your reticle, so that's why I want to address this also in this video. So guys, to quickly recap, you should always be looking where you think an enemy is going to be. You know, if they are spawning C here, I want to keep my reticle up, watching top mid at a certain level where I can easily just shoot the enemy, pull the trigger. I don't have to do any crazy aim correction like what happened in that first clip where I over-aimed, under-aimed, and then they got 2 or 3 shots into me before I was even able to hit them. And then the same goes for, again, same scenario. They're spawning C plat. They could be coming from bridge, so you want to be looking up bridge around what would roughly be chest level. So I'm doing more left to right aim correction as opposed to snapping up or snapping down and just snapping in directions where it's going to be a little bit harder to line up your aim on the enemy. Then, of course, once the enemy's in front of you guys, chest level. It is the largest body of mass. You have much more room for error up, down, and then the largest width where you can kind of still hit a shot and do the same amount of damage as opposed to if you were to aim for the waist or the head, where there's a much smaller area of aim assist pull, and it's just harder to hit a target that's not as wide when you are moving left to right. And then, of course, guys, it doesn't matter where you shoot them. Just an honest reminder here, and then one-shot headshot once they are already cracked. And then finally, don't forget those settings, guys. If you want to adjust your reticle, you're dying for a smaller reticle or something like that, feel free to try changing your FOV. But again, your gameplay will look a lot different, but this will yield you the smaller reticle that you may or may not be looking for. Then, of course, if you want the outline on your reticle, I already showed you guys how to do so. So that's pretty much all of my reticle placement and reticle settings tips, guys. Although they are very basic, I would mainly take this video as a bit of a reminder on how you should be thinking about your reticle, because this is very much directly attributed, at least for me, to games where I find I cannot get a single gunfight win. You know, I'm getting lazy, I'm looking at the ground, and then I go, oh no, I have to snap up, and then they've got 2 or 3 bullets in me before I can even shoot back, guys. And like, the lazier you get with it, the harder it feels to win gunfights sometimes, and at least for my own gameplay, it becomes very frustrating. So always keep that reticle placement in mind. Don't be looking at the ground here if an enemy's going to be coming big door here. You want to be very ready, and I promise you, this is going to make you react much, much better to these gunfights, and you'll probably find you're getting the upper hand more often than not, unless you're playing somebody that's completely eating their monitor and they just snap instantly to you and get those quick shots, which that'll happen sometimes. But hey, we're just all trying to improve, trying to get better, and trying to become that cracked fella that's putting the first bullet in on their enemies. But alrighty, guys, that pretty much covers everything I want to talk about. Hope this video helped you out. Be sure to subscribe if it did. A lot of Halo Infinite content. We mix in Modern Warfare 3 here and there, but it's mainly Halo here on the channel. So hit that sub button, guys. Leave a like on the video. It helps out ever so much. Hopefully more people can find this video that way and get some reminders on where their reticles should be when they're playing ranked. And then, of course, guys, leave a comment. Any other reticle tips you have? Do you find you get lazy with it sometimes? If so, I hope this video helps you out and gives you a good reminder. And then finally, channel memberships and super thanks. If you guys would like to support monetarily, it helps you out a lot as a content creator, but please do not feel like you have to. But alrighty, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you for all the support. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and stay happy, stay healthy, and stay tuned for the next video.